30 minutes past 9. I welcome you to New Day. I welcome you to Friday. May the peace of Allah be upon us. I welcome you to another exciting edition of From the Newspaper, streaming live from the premises of GSC's Hotel, Akpete, Ibadan. Good morning to you. You are listening to MFM 97.3, where we set the agenda and project the truth. And don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM 97.3. And as you're watching us, do also like, comment, and share. Moreover, don't forget this program is in form of 3 segments. The first segment is the weather forecast reports of the 3 major cities in Nigeria: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the commercial city of Lagos, and the vibrant city of Ibadan, where we are streaming live from. Where the second segment on the show is the headlines make a round of Nigerian newspaper. And as usual, let's bring 4 newspapers to you every morning: the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and Nigerian Tribune. Where the last segment on the show is the details to the headlines. My name is SHAQEEROH AKINYEMI. Alright, so moving on to the first segment on the show, which is the weather forecast report. And the first city I'll bring on is the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. At 10 a.m. in Abuja this morning is mostly cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is intermittent clouds with 26 degrees Celsius. And at 12 p.m. is partly sunny with 27 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is mostly sunny with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is mostly sunny with 29 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius, and at 4 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is mostly sunny with 27 degrees Celsius, and at 6 p.m. is mostly sunny with 25 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is mostly clear with 24 degrees Celsius, and at 8 p.m. is clear with 23 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is clear with 23 degrees Celsius, and at 10 p.m. is clear with 23 degrees Celsius. Up until 11 p.m. is clear with 22 degrees Celsius. At 10 a.m. in the commercial city of Lagos this morning, it's rain with 28 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is rain with 27 degrees Celsius. At 12 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is intermittent clouds with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. is partly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is partly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. And at 10 p.m. is mostly clear with 27 degrees Celsius. Up until 11 p.m. is partly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. So moving on to the last city on the first segment, which is the vibrant city of Ibadan. At 10 a.m. in Ibadan this morning is mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is mostly cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 12 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 32 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is rain with 30 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is mostly clear with 24 degrees Celsius. And at 10 p.m. is mostly clear with 24 degrees Celsius. At 11 p.m. is partly cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius. So moving on to the second segment on the show, which is the headlines make a round of Nigerian newspaper. And the first newspaper I'm bringing on this morning is the Punch newspaper. The lead story on the Punch newspaper this morning says, Tinubu to Amopiton makes 2027 poll transparent, violence free, and page 2 has a detail to that story. Right out to that story that says new INEC boss steps in, votes to restore vote confidence. Tinubu advised on reforms. And page 2 has the detail to that story. And above the line of the Punch newspaper says 2027, Jonathan faces mounting pressures to drop presidential bid. And page 3 has the details of that story. Story on the Punch newspaper says wealth means nothing without good name, says Adebutu. And page 24 and 25 has a detail to that story. Medical tourism spending falls 52% under Tinubu CBN report. And page 7 has the detail to that story. Federal government launches nationwide crackdowns on oil, gold smugglers. And page 2 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Another story on the Punch newspaper says assailant shot shawarma vendor dead in Lagos. And page 4 and 5 has the analysis to that story. And the last story on the Punch newspaper says Anambra Pro INEC teams arise for mock accreditation. And page 87 has the detail to that story. To the Vanguard newspaper. The list story on the Vanguard newspaper says integrity of our elections non-negotiable, says Amopiton INEC chair. And page 5 has the detail to that story. Two riders to that story. The first rider says we will demonstrate our commitment with Anambra Governor Pool. And the last rider says serves with integrity beyond reproach. Tinubu Charles Amokweton. And page 5 has the detail to that stories.
Audio Jungle.
Another story on the Vanguard newspaper says stock market capitalization inches towards 100 trillion naira. And page 19 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Vanguard newspaper, another story says Anambra 8 local government areas boost Soludo with endorsement donations. And page 4 has the detail to that story. Alleged terrorism, Kano Stark's legal team to open defense today. And page 11 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
PDP, Jonathan under pressure to drop 2027 presidential ambition. And page 12 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Another story on the Vanguard newspaper says PDP national chair Turaki Hima's not consensus candidate. And page 11 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
are two writers to that story. The first writer says both slams and Yahoo's forgery allegation as baseless. And the last writer says Diri has lost legitimacy to continue in office as governor. Both chair and page 9 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Labour Party crisis. Usman demands former acting INEC chairman's arrest, and page 9 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Another story says election petition. Opposition parties back Senate on shifting burden of proof to INEC, and page 35 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And the last story on the Vanguard newspaper is about sport. It says Osimhen worth more than 100 million, says Galatasaray coach, and page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Story on the Guardian newspaper says Tinubu demands credible elections as Amokwit face Anambra Odu, and page 6 has details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Another story on the Guardian newspaper says EFCC we recovered 566 billion naira, $411 million, 1,502 properties in 2 years, and page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Challenging elections in court makes mockery of Nigeria, NAS laments, and page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Story on the Guardian newspaper says 22,050 displaced children back to school in 3 northwest states, says SCI, and page 38 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Defection. Makinde, APC senator, declared lack of political ideology in Nigeria, and page 6 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Kanu sack legal team up to represent selves in court, and page 9 has the details to that story. On the Guardian newspaper, another story says MTN Nigeria here to stay. CEO reiterates at bilateral roundtable, and page 2 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
From promise to paralysis, inside Akwa Ibom's lost industrial decades, and page 4 and 5 has the analysis to that story. Story says again Tinubu appeal for understanding over economic challenges, and page 38 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And the last story on the Guardian newspaper says remove 4% FOB levy or consumers bear burden, manufacturers tells federal government, and page 22 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
to the last newspaper on the second segment, which is Nigerian Tribune. And the latest story on the Nigerian Tribune says, "Cells with integrity, Tinubu tells new INEC boss." And page 22 has the details to that story. And there are two riders to that story. The first rider says, "My leadership begins of new chapter," says Amikwiton. And the last rider says, "Want INEC staff to use the Anambra election to prove commitment to credible election." And page 23 has analysis to that stories. Land ownership, Oyo government tackle federal government. And page 15 has the detail to that story. And there's one rider to that story that says, "Says revoked properties no belongs to federal government." And page 15 has the detail to that story. Nigerian Tribune says, "Refs move to strip president of unilateral power to sack EFCC chairman." And page 24 has the detail to that story. Protest, block highway over killing of 10 in Hondo Road accident. And page 26 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
PDP convention, how northern stakeholders adopted Turaki as consensus candidate for chairman. And page 23 and 24 have the detail to that story. And there's one rider to that story that says, "PDP boss dismisses Anyawu's allegation on alleged forgery." And page 23 and 24 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And the last story on Nigerian Tribune says, "NEC extend crude theft panel to include solid minerals." And page 4 has the details to that story. Alright, so we have come to the end of the second segment. Before we divert into the last segment, let's go on a break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
The Aces Hotels and Conference Center is one and only event place with a clear difference and tasteful excellence here in the ancient city of Ibadan. For your next and upcoming event, whether marriage engagement, wedding reception, anniversaries, conferences, seminars, or birthday, the Aces Hotels and Conference Center is affordable and fully equipped with all imaginable ultra-modern facilities that headache, security, power, environment, parking space, and royal service by their staff. All roads lead to the Aces Hotel and Conference Center today at kilometer 2.5 Ijokodo Akpete Akufo Road, Akere, Ibadan. For booking and more information, call 080-8746-7420, 080-9744-1898, or 080-2869-0012. The Aces Hotels and Conference Center, where comfortability speaks in words.
Fmtv oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ òjò mọ́ mi àtọkùnrin wa àtobìnrin wa ẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o gbogbo ẹ̀yin obìnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o Fmtv oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin wa ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ o Fmtv oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ oníkẹ́mọ́ wò lórí Instagram lórí Facebook oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ òjẹ̀mọ́ mi ẹ wá wo oríṣẹ́nu ọ̀pálábá ẹ wá wo rẹ̀ ti ṣe láwùjọ òjò gbogbo ìkànnà gbé wá bẹ̀ gbogbo eré ládùn gbogbo tó lóyin tó bá ronú tọ́pàrọ̀nù tí Fmtv oníkan mọ́ gbọ́ olólùfẹ́ mi ẹ̀yọ́ rẹ̀ wá ọkọ sọ fúnyàwó rẹ̀ Fmtv oníkẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ ẹnikẹ́mọ́ gbọ́ ọjọ́mọ́ mi Fmtv.
gbogbo náà gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ ní gbọ́ tọba wọn fẹ́ gbọ́ mi dára tó ṣe máa yí ọ̀hún dára AMM and TV oníkọ́ ọmọ tọba ti débẹ̀ gbogbo ní kíbi lórí social media wà bá wọn pàdé wo májè tán májè kéde kú bí ọ̀tún àbáyé o èmi ni ó ṣe o ìdí mo sọ yìí òní ọgbọ́n AMM and TV iléeṣẹ́ tó ní àbá àlejò àgbà ló kọ̀ mí o sálámù alẹ́.
FM fún ìdálárayá ètò àsìkò ìkọ́nilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìgbà gbogbo AFM ní kẹ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ ẹ má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ nígbà gbogbo ẹni tó bá níjó tí ò jó ẹni tó bá láyọ̀ tí ò yọ̀ ọjọ́ tí ò pẹ́ ní ó sunra rẹ̀ láwọ̀ ara AFM ló ní kẹ́ ẹ níjó kẹ́ ẹ jó kẹ́ ẹ láyọ̀ kẹ́ ẹ sì máa yọ̀ AFM ni ẹ máa gbọ́ ni ẹ máa wò nígbà gbogbo.
àjànàkú kọjá mo rí nǹkan fìrí tá a bá rèrè ká bá rèrè ìkànnì MFM radio and TV ẹ̀yẹ tí ó dorí kodò bí àdó sí ẹ má ìdúró ń bẹ̀ fún ìròyìn tí ò lábùlà ìròyìn eré ìdárayá orin tó dùn pa létí àṣà ẹ̀fẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí gbogbo tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ bá gbogbo tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ lójú kan ṣoṣo òun náà ló wà ní ìkànnì MFM radio and TV àjà ló lẹ́rù ìrọ̀ nìyẹn bá.
So welcome back to the show. It's still from the newspaper. Don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM 97.3. And as watching those, do also like, comment, and share. We're now in the last segment of From the Newspaper this morning, which is the details to the headlines. And first, our bringing on says Niger governor donates 1 million each for families of tanker explosion victims. The Niger State Governor Mohammed Bogo has announced a donation of 1 million to each family of the deceased victim and 500,000 to each of the injury survivor of the recent tanker explosion in Issa, Kecha local government area. Bago made the announcement on Thursday during the condolence visit to the affected community, where he conducted an on-the-spot assessment and met with the local leaders of the residents. This is contained in a statement issued by the governor's chief press secretary, Bologi Ibrahim, on Thursday night. Punch Online earlier reported that the tragic incident occurred around 3:45 p.m. on Tuesday when a fire ignited and overpowered residents scoping petrol from the falling tanker along the Bida Bridge area. Director General of the Niger State Emergency Management Authority, Abdullahi Hara, confirmed that the death toll from the petrol tanker explosion rose to 42. Hara, who spoke on the Arise News, attributed the tragic incident to the poor condition of the road and high temperature in the area, which he said contributed to the ignition on the fire, expressing deep sorrow over the incident. The governor prayed for the speedy recovery of those receiving treatment in hospital in Bida and Abuja. He commended the heart of the residents coping fuel from falling tanker, describing it as both dangerous and criminal. While acknowledging the poor road condition contributed to the tragedy, that he used the residents to act responsibly and assist in secure effort during the such emergency rather than endanger their lives. The governor also revealed that the business mogul Aliko Dangote has pleased to repair the Mokwa Nabata Road, with the work expected to commence soon. reps move to limit president control over EFCC chair. The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill seeking to amend the Economic and Financial Crime Commission Establishment Act 2004 to constitutional independence on the anti-corruption agency. The resolution of the House followed the consideration of a bill sponsored by the Plateau State lawmaker Yusuf Gadi during the Thursday plenary. Among the provisions that propose the legislation seek to insulate the EFCC from political control and align with operation with the global anti-corruption best practice. Leading the debate on the general principle of the bill, at the session presided over the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, Gadi said the amendment aimed to modernize the EFCC legal framework to enable it to respond to the multi-layers pattern of financial and economic crime across the country. Since the enactment of the EFCC Act in 2004, he noted that the scope of financial crime has expanded to include cybercrime, cryptocurrency, manipulation, illicit financial flow, terrorism financing, and real estate-based money laundering. Under the Assistance Act, the President does not require the approval of the National Assembly to remove the chairman of the anti-graft body. One of the proposed amendments seeks to contain the presidential power to remove the EFCC chairman, which under the current law can be done at the President's sole administration. Gadi noted that under the proposed amendment of removal of the EFCC chairman will require the approval of two-thirds majority of both the Senate and House of Representatives before it can take effect. According to him, if the amendment is passed, it would help to restore public confidence in anti-graft agency. The bill was anonymously passed for the second reading under referral to the relevant House committee for further legislative action. Shoots shawarma vendor dead in Lagos. A shawarma vendor has been shot dead by the some Aslan's suspects to be caught at a shop located in Mowo area along the Badagry Expressway, Lagos State. The Punch Metro learned on Thursday from the source who did not want to be named due to the nature of the incident that is occurred on Wednesday night. The source said the victim was in a shop when the attacker stormed the area and shot him dead on the spot. Similarly, an anti-cultism advocacy page on Facebook, Niger Confra, identified the victim as Hafiz and alleged that he was killed by a suspected cultist. According to the page, the attack stemmed from the unresolved dispute between Hafiz and a member of cult group. When contacted for a reaction on Thursday, the spokesperson for the Lagos State Police Command, Abimbola Adebisi, confirmed the incident in a telephone conversation with the Punch correspondent. She noted that the reports indicate that the victim was hit from the back by the yet-to-be-identified assailants. Punch Metro intimated that suspect cultists hacked the 28-year-old man, Olarewaju Ogunyemi, to the death in Ilesejami area, Lagos State. The mature wealthy man who was said to be storming the community in search for Olarewaju brother, who identified as yet to be known, and as they could locate him and the residence. The Punch correspondent was told they would trace him to the workshop on Abeokuta Street. In other Punch Metro reports on September 9, suspected rival cult group engaged in a violent clashes that left 2 people dead in the Ibeju-Lekki area of Lagos State. The Lagos State Police Command has consistently reiterated its commitment to curbing the menace through the continuous weapon on the suspected cultists. Before moving on, let's go on a short break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
Ìwòyìn àsìkò lọ́lọ́kọ̀ ọ̀dọ̀kan eré ìdárayá orin tó dùn gbọ́sẹ̀ tí àtàwọn ètò tí ń kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n ẹgbẹ́ wa kétékété lórí ayélujára wọ̀nyí lórí Facebook.
igbá tó tó gbá ní í ṣe baálé ọba gbọ́migbọ́mi kọ̀ǹkọ̀ tó tó kọ̀ǹkọ̀ ní í ṣe ọba wọn lálẹ́ odò bó jẹ́ tìròyìn tó pójú owó orin tó dùn ún gbọ́ létí àṣà ẹ̀fẹ̀ àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan ìkànnì MFM rédíò ọba ló jẹ́ láwùjọ rédíò.
So welcome back to the show, still from the newspaper. Another story says, make 2027 poll transparent, violence-free. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday charged the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Josh Amoguitan, to prioritize transparency and non-violence as Nigeria prepares for the 2027 general election, saying the credible poll remained the foundation of public trust and democratic stability. Speaking at the State House in Abuja shortly after administering the oath of the office as the new INEC boss, Tinubu said Amoguitan's appointment confirmed by the state a week ago was a mark of confidence in the competence and character by both executive and legislative arms of government. The president emphasized that Nigeria's democracy, which has lasted since 1999, has evolved through reform, innovation, and lessons to learn from the past challenge. President Bola Tinubu added that while the electoral system was flawless, credible and transparency at every stage, based its registration, campaigning, voting, and result collation, remain critical to sustaining public trust. Shortly after the ceremony, Amoguitan told the State House correspondent that he would uphold the Constitution and engage all stakeholders in pursuit of credible election.
Audio Jungle.
Jonathan faces mounting pressure to drop presidential bid. Fresh pressure is mounting on the former president Goodluck Jonathan to shelve his rumored plan to contest the presidency in 2027 general elections, as prominent figure in Niger State intensified efforts to persuade him to insist support the re-election of the President Bola Tinubu. Finding by the Punch revealed that ex-militant leader, High Chief Government Ekpemukpolo, Alice Tompolos, is leading the regional movement, urging Jonathan to drop his alleged presidential ambition and rally behind President Tinubu's second-term bid. It was gathered that Tompolo, accompanied by the associates including the managing director of Tantati Security Service Nigeria Limited, High Chief Kirsten Mbondi, and the deputy governorship candidate of All Progressive Congress in 2023 Bayelsa State election, Joshua Maxib, among others, paid a private visit to Jonathan at his Otoke home in Ogba local government area of Bayelsa State on October 16. The meeting, which reportedly lasted several hours, was Tompolo's first public appearance in nearly 10 years, an indication of the gravity of his mission. Contrary to the Initiate Media report suggesting that the decision to center the peace and security in Niger State, multiple incapable sources disclosed that the visit was primarily political. According to the source close to the both men, Tompolo's visit was aimed to discouraging Jonathan from seeking the presidency and urging him to support President Tinubu's re-election in 2027. A top Jonathan associate who was privy to the meeting but declined to be named for lack of authorization to speak, confirmed that the meeting indeed took place. Tompolo, who has been a staunch supporter for President Tinubu, currently enjoys the renewal of the multi-billion naira pipeline surveillance contract first awarded to him during the administration of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari. Tompolo also led the grassroots political structure known as the People's Door-to-Door Movement, mobilizing support to Tinubu re-election across Niger State. Further details from the source familiar with the meeting suggest that Tompolo told Jonathan that the fiscal of Niger Delta was not in favor of his rumors ambition to return to power.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Federal government launches nationwide crackdown on ghost smugglers. The National Economic Council on Thursday said it would begin a crackdown on legal gold miners and part of the broader strategy to safeguard Nigerian natural resources and boost government revenue. The move follows the council decision to expand the mandate of its ad hoc committee on crude oil theft, prevention and control, chaired by the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma. to include the fight against illegal mining and mineral smuggling. Briefing the State House correspondent after the 153rd NEC meeting chaired by the Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential village, Abuja Uzodinma said the expanded themes of the reference reflect government resolve to close the revenue leakage from solid minerals. He added that the committee would work closely with the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, the Nigeria Executive Industry Transparency Initiative and Security Agency to curb gold smuggling, unregulated quarrying and illicit miner exports. The ad hoc committee was originally established under the former President Muhammadu Buhari in August 2022 to combat crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism that had crippled national production for forced international oil companies to shut down key pipelines. When the President Bola Tinubu reconstructed the committee in December 2023, daily oil production has dropped between 700,000 and 800,000 barrels per day, below the country's OPEC quota, leading the major foreign exchange shortfall. Nigeria's illegal mining sector is multi-billion naira showdown economy, particularly in gold, lithium, and other high-valuable minerals. According to NETI, the country loses over $9 billion annually to illicit extraction and miner smugglings. Unlicensed operation, often controlled by criminal syndicates that the armed group in the northwest and north central region have turned gold mining into a source of funding bandits and cross-border crime. A 2023 audit of NETI revealed that over 80% of Nigerian mining activities are informal and unregulated, while law enforcement smugglers to track export due to the limited manpower and overlapping.
Audio Jungle.
Story says MBTA warns against illegal award of ND HND certificates. The National Board of Technical Education has cautioned all professionals and examination bodies in Nigeria to desist from illegal conduct and award of National Diploma ND and Higher National Diploma HND certificates. This was contained in a statement issued to the newsmen on Thursday in Kaduna by the Executive Secretary, NIMBET Prof. Idris Bagude, through the board heads, Media and Publicity, Mrs. Fatima Abubakar. She said the Baghdad has issued a circular expressing concern over the activities of a certain professional and examinational bodies purporting to design a conduct and award ND and HND certificates in various disciplines. It describes such action as the illegal and violation of MPTA's Establishment Act. According to her, MPTA remains the holy body legal in power under the federal government decree of number 7 of 1977 as amended by the Act 16 of 1989 to approve credits and regulated all programs leading to the award of ND and HND certificates in Nigeria. The board further clarified that only accredited technical and vocational education and training institutions including polytechnics, College of Nursing Sciences, College of Health, College of Agriculture and other specialized institutions that meet prescribed standards was authorized for run ND and HND program. The MBTA therefore warned that it would not hesitate to take the regulatory and legal action against any professional or examination bodies funded engaging in such legal acts. The board held that all stakeholders and the public to take note of the ensure strict compliance with the establishment regulations governing technical education in the country. In September, MPTA maintained that it will sustain the crackdown of mushroom entities calling themselves polytechnics and thereby impinging on the government stronging committee to deliver the quantitative education across the country. also, we have come to the end of from the newspaper this morning. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for staying tuned. My name is SHAQEEROH.